You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? What's driving me crazy are the dueling 60 Minutes interviews that I saw last night. One of which was extremely unfair, and the other of which was a softball interview, and you know which one was which if you were watching. President Trump got a series of difficult questions from Leslie Stahl. Take a look.
No, these are much bigger than I ever had.
I don't want to bicker over that. Tell me about the mask wearing.
You're so negative. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had. You just come in here with that negative attitude. These are the biggest rallies we've ever had.
But I can't believe after what happened in the Rose Garden here, after the announcement, with all the people getting sick, that you are not being more strongly encouraging about wearing masks at your rallies.
I tell people to wear
masks. But you don't.
Leslie,
You have unemployment claims going up. You have COVID cases going up. I mean, it's like the gods have suddenly decided to conspire against you.
I don't think so at all, no. I think
Well,
we've
what
done a
about
great
these-
job with COVID.
Sir, excuse me, cases are up in about 40 states.
You know why cases are up also? Because we do more testing. The fake news media loves to say cases are up. The fact is we've done a very, very good job.
Cases are up.
We have done, that's right, because we're doing so much testing.
You see, she was the Biden spokeschick in that interview. She was not easy on him on anything. And I'm not saying that members of the press should be easy on their interview subjects. But in this case, he wasn't a subject, he was a target. She was the surrogate, the spokesperson for the Biden campaign. And it would be one thing if both sides got equally tough questions, but that's not what happened. Only President Trump and Mike Pence got difficult questions. Look at the questions that Joe Biden got asked. He got asked questions like this: can Trump still win? Check this out.
With less than 2 weeks to go before Election Day, you have held a steady lead in the national and state polls. But so did Hillary Clinton 4 years ago. Could Donald Trump still win this?
Sure. I'm one of those folks or competitors. It's not over till the bell rings. And I feel superstitious when I predict anything other than it's going to be a hard fight. We feel good about where we are, but, you know, I don't underestimate how he plays.
What do you mean you don't underestimate how he plays?
Well, you know, there's an awful lot of talk out there about that trying to sort of delegitimize the election. All, I think, designed to make people wonder whether or not they should, whether it's worth going to vote.
Are you serious? That is a tough interview? Okay, that's Norah O'Donnell, in case you didn't know. She anchors the CBS Evening News that nobody watches, all right? She used to be on MSNBC, which we all know is basically the Democratic Party channel, all right? And she bragged before this interview how she asked Joe Biden lots of tough questions. Her interview was harder than Leslie Stahl's on President Trump. You just saw that clip. You think she was harder on Joe Biden? Those were softball questions anybody could have hit out of the ballpark. She asked him, can Donald Trump still win? That's what he's telling people because he wants his people to come out to vote. And he's afraid that they won't because there is no enthusiasm for Joe Biden. And also because all we've been getting is this drumbeat about Joe Biden winning in the polls. And so he's worried that people will say, oh, Joe Biden's winning anyway, why should I come out to vote? So she was doing his work. She was doing the Biden campaign work. And then about Donald Trump not playing fair and doing bad things with the election. I mean, these are the tough questions? Really? Come on. Come on, man, as he would say. All right, and that was just the beginning. There was more of that. You know, take a look at this question that Joe Biden got asked about the Supreme Court. Check this out.
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Mr. Biden is under pressure from his own party to consider increasing the number of justices if elected. It's called court packing, and while he's said he's no fan of the idea, he's never completely ruled it out. Judge Amy Coney Barrett is on track to become the 9th U.S. Supreme Court justice. That would give the conservatives a 6-3 majority. If elected, would you move to add more justices to the Supreme Court?
If elected, what I will do is I'll put together a national commission bipartisan commission of scholars, constitutional scholars, Democrats, Republicans, liberal, conservative, and I will ask them to, over 180 days, come back to me with recommendations as to how to reform the court system, because it's getting out of whack, the way in which it's being handled. And it's not about court packing. There's a number of other things that our constitutional scholars have debated, and I'd look to see what recommendations that commission might make.
This is a live ball.
Oh, it is a live ball. No, it is a live ball. We're going to have to do that. And you're going to find there's a lot of conservative constitutional scholars who are saying it as well.
What? She claims, by the way, the whole time that she was promoting this interview, Norah O'Donnell, she claimed, you know what? Joe Biden hasn't answered the question about whether he will pack the court, but I finally nailed him down and he answered it. Was that an answer? He didn't answer her. He gave the same kind of psychobabble gobbledygook answer he gave at the debate, he gave at George Stephanopoulos' town hall, and he's been giving ever since. He did not answer her. You know why he didn't answer her? Because he knows he's going to pack the court if he gets elected. Instead, he said what any bureaucrat who doesn't want to answer the question always says. Well, I'm going to form a committee, I'm going to get all kinds of recommendations, and then we'll decide. That's not an answer. That's saying, I'm going to form a committee, which he may form a committee. So what? He's still going to pack the court. You know it, I know it, and she knows it. And she did not get an answer from him. But the things he was saying about what he's going to do with the court, as we said last week, Ted Cruz said he thought the answer was chilling. And I think he's right, because he was saying he's going to have a committee to look at all aspects of the Supreme Court, all aspects. So who knows what that means? That does not just mean the number of justices. It could mean term limits, which I do believe there should be term limits for these Supreme Court justices, but it could be other things that are not so good. So get ready. If he is the president, good luck, America, because we are going to go right down the tubes. He's not answering that question for a reason. If he was not going to pack the court, he would say so. And in fact, he'd probably be lying if he said that he wasn't going to. But he's not even saying, I'm not going to pack the court. He's hemming and hawing, which you know what that means. That means he is going to pack the court. All right, now, this other question that really, really bothered me because, again, Norah O'Donnell is a terrible interviewer. She just threw him softball questions. I guess she's not a terrible interviewer. She's a great Biden propaganda master, because that's what she was there for, and she knew that that was her role. So she asked him about Hunter Biden, and we will get into that after the break. But I just want to remind you what the Hunter Biden controversy is about. Hunter Biden, who was kicked out of the military for a cocaine addiction, he was dishonorably discharged from the military, and then all of a sudden, with no energy experience, with no foreign policy experience, all of a sudden, he's on the board of this Ukraine energy company, Burisma. He's doing business with the Chinese, asking them for $10 million a year to hang out with his father. He's getting $1.5 billion, his and his investment firm. And there are emails between him and his partners and his uncle, Jim Biden, Joe Biden's father, or brother. They're very careful not to mention Joe Biden's name or get him involved with it, but they keep talking about the big guy. The big guy gets 10%. We just heard from the big guy, and we're going to hear more from him after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together today and stand united in the fight to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Case counts are steadily on the rise in the Bismarck-Mandan metro area, so please do your part. Protect yourself and others by wearing a mask when you're not at home. During the pandemic response, scientists have determined wearing a mask is a benefit to you and to those around you. This help keeps others from getting sick and may lessen the severity of illness if you were infected with COVID-19. We're all in this together. So let's get kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep our community strong. Let's show everyone how we come together to keep Bismarck the safe, resilient community we know and love. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus. That's health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Beck Communications is honored to be recently recognized with 3 Broadband Now awards. Beck Communications Cooperative was awarded in the categories of Top Internet Speeds Nationwide, Top 3 Fastest Internet Providers in North Dakota, and North Dakota's #1 fastest fiber provider. It's only through the support of our members and customers that Beck Fiber delivers award-winning speeds and service. Thank you, Beck Communications Cooperative members and customers, for your years of continued support.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, we were talking about Hunter Biden. And this woman, Nora O'Donnell, who claims that she gave Joe Biden a very tough interview, was not tough at all. Listen to how she asks him about Hunter Biden and how she couches this question. It's absurd.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life.
In the closing days of the campaign, Joe Biden has been forced to address new and unverified claims that he was involved in his son Hunter's foreign business dealings. The president's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says he came into possession of emails allegedly belonging to Hunter Biden and turned them over to the tabloid New York Post.
Smoking gun emails.
Mr. Trump and his allies have called for an investigation, but the FBI would neither confirm nor deny to 60 Minutes that one was taking place. Do you believe the recent leak of material allegedly from Hunter's computer is part of a Russian disinformation campaign?
From what I've read and know, the intelligence community warned the president that Giuliani was being fed disinformation from the Russians. And we also know that Putin is trying very hard to spread disinformation about Joe Biden.
So that's how she asks him the question, not, did you know that your son was trading on your name, not only with Burisma in Ukraine, but also with China, to the tune of billions of dollars, because we're talking 1.5 billion at least from China and $10 million a year, and he was getting a monthly payment as well of, I believe, over $100,000, and he was getting over $60,000, I think it was something like $80,000 from Burisma. All right, so she doesn't ask him that. She doesn't ask him, are these emails real? Have you asked Hunter? Have you discussed his laptop? Why is his signature on a receipt? She doesn't ask him, there are emails that say, oh, you know, let's keep 10% for the big guy. You know, the big guy gets 10%. Are you the big guy, Mr. Vice President? Your brother Jim was involved in this too. You didn't talk to either your brother or your son about this? the entire time you were vice president, you both went to the Ukraine together and to China? That's not believable, Mr. Vice President. That's what should have been asked in an interview. That's what Leslie Stahl, at the very least, would have asked him if he were Trump. And this was about Don Jr. and Donald Trump, or Ivanka and Donald Trump, or Tiffany, or Barron, or whatever. She couches it as not, are these things accurate, or how could it be believable that you did not know your son was doing this? She couches it as, oh, you know what? This is Russian disinformation. Did you know that? Are you serious? This is an interview of the possible next president of the United States, and we know that his son was trading on his name and made zillions of dollars, and you are not going to ask anything about it? Nothing pointed? You're just going to say, oh, yeah, that was Russian disinformation, right? We should disregard it, right? Are you serious? This is just laughable. And it would be funny if it weren't so sad, but this is the state of our media today. They are in the tank for this campaign, for this party, for the left. They are not, there is no pretense anymore of impartiality. That's why the president got so mad. That's why, after 45 minutes of Leslie Stahl attacking him on behalf of the Biden campaign, he said, I've had enough, and he walked out. I give him credit for even sitting through 45 minutes. Who cares about a 60 minutes tradition, as Leslie Stahl called it? 60 minutes isn't a tradition. It's a news program. That's not even news, it's propaganda. And they have an agenda. That's not a tradition. Thanksgiving is a tradition. Christmas is a tradition. 60 minutes is not a tradition. It is a hatchet job. And it is only a hatchet job if you have an R after your name, or you are from the red state persuasion of thinking. And if you have a blue after your name, if you are in the blue group, or if you have a D after your name, then 60 Minutes loves you. That's their tradition. This is just absurd. That's an interview? Are you serious? So it is not believable that this is Russian propaganda. This story has all but been confirmed. We've got Hunter Biden's signature on the receipt. We know the FBI has the laptop. We know the FBI is investigating, and they have been since December, almost a year ago. So this is ridiculous, and she did not even mention it. Mr. Vice President, do you know why the FBI has the laptop and why they are investigating, why they've been talking to those people? Mr. Vice President, why is Tony Bobolinsky, your son's former partner, saying that all of this is true if it isn't? Are you calling him a liar? But your son, who was dishonorably discharged for cocaine, who is made billions and is a loser otherwise, he's the more trustworthy one, not Tony Bobolinsky? Those are the questions that should have been asked, and they were not. Now, he ends his interview with more outrageousness, and this time he does more of what we talked about last week. He attacks America. Look at this.
Vote. It's not our value system. You know, we hold these truths to be self-evident. We've never met it. We've never met the standard, but we've always gone further and further and further toward inclusion. This is the first president who's trying to shut it down.
That's how he describes America. That's how he's been describing America. We've never lived up to the ideal. We're fake. We're a bad country. That's what he's saying, because he's trying to appeal to the left of America, to the radicals, to younger people who have been taught in school by teachers, by college professors and TAs, by the media, by pop culture, by the music industry, by Hollywood, to hate America, and now on social media as well. Remember, we now have a generation of kids that have been raised on social media, and they've been taught America sucks, we're terrible. So he is trying to appeal to that crowd, to the Bernie bros, to the AOC sisters, to Elizabeth Warren. That's what's going on with that. That's absurd. But he's attacking America again. I mean, that's what he does. Now, Kamala Harris, we have a lot of videos on her, and we'll get to those in a second. I want you to take a look at what Joe Biden said about who he's running against. And this is not from 60 Minutes, but it should have been a subject from Norah O'Donnell.
This is the most consequent, not because I'm running, but because who I'm running against. This is the most consequential election in a long, long, long time. And the character of the country, in my view, is literally on the ballot. What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of George, going to find ourselves in a position where, if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world, and so.
So the video is not that great, and it's not our fault here, Beck. It's just the video that was available of that interview. I think it's on Zoom, and the gradient wasn't that great, but the resolution wasn't that great. But you can see Jill Biden keeps saying Trump, Trump. She keeps mouthing it because Joe Biden does not even know who he's running against, and this was from over the weekend. So his mental fitness for the presidency should definitely be called into account. But Norah O'Donnell did not live up to the job. He thinks he's running against George W. Bush. Yeah, that's the latest episode of Joe-Bonics, and you will see a lot of Joe-Bonics if this guy is elected. Now, when we come back, we will talk about what is going on with Kamala Harris and her part of the 60 Minutes interview, because it's more of the outrageous. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie. I'm back.
I just went in for a regular mammogram, and I found out that I had a little tumor.
Through the exam and the biopsy, it was determined that I had cancer.
I got a call from one of my doctors that I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
After 5 years, they found a local reoccurrence.
The first thing you hear when you're told you have a cancer, it's a little daunting because you don't know where to go with it.
Since 1999, in a partnership between CHI St. Alexius Health and Sanford Health Bismarck, the Bismarck Cancer Center has provided the most advanced radiation therapies and holistic support services for cancer patients and their loved ones for 20 years.
I've been at the Bismarck Cancer Center since it started. I actually was in the basement of Med Center 1 before, when we had old machines and old equipment. And thankfully, the two hospitals at the time, St. Alexius and Med Center 1, joined forces to create the Bismarck Cancer Center.
I walk in the door, I get nothing but hugs, and I was marveled at them. I mean, I thought it was the best place in the world.
The staff is unbelievably compassionate, and they explain everything to you.
Everybody's genuinely concerned about your well-being, and the level of care is just top-notch. The Cancer Center just does such an amazing job of helping people.
To me and my family, the Cancer Center means life. It's given me the ability to live out my life with my family, my wife, my children, my grandchildren.
Because of them, I'm 2 years out, get to move on with my life, make a difference now for other people.
I would recommend this center because the minute you walk through that door, they've got your back.
This center means so much to me and to the people that are in this building, and we just want to keep giving it back to the community and providing for them what they need.
I'm Katie. I've been cancer-free for 2 years.
I'm Steve, and I've been cancer-free for 4 years.
I've been cancer-free for 10 years.
10 years.
11 years.
15 years.
My name is Lainey, and I've been cancer-free for 18 years.
Bismarck Cancer Center, your partner against cancer for 20 years.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So back to the 60 Minutes interview last night. And as I said, Leslie Stahl also interviewed Mike Pence, and Norah O'Donnell also interviewed Kamala Harris. And of course, the interview with Mike Pence was almost as contentious as the one with Trump. The only reason it wasn't as contentious is that Mike Pence is very smooth. He took it and he deftly handled it with aplomb, and she did not get anything over on him. But Kamala Harris didn't even have to worry about that. So she got the same softball questions that Joe Biden got. No questions really about anything. And when she did get anything that was even kind of, sort of probing, which it really wasn't, she just gave her normal response when she doesn't want to answer a question and can't answer it. She does that nervous, fake, annoying laughter. I just cannot stand it. And I don't think you can either. And if they win, you are in for a lot of that because she's going to be the president. So look at what she said and how her laughing. Look at this. It's a response. And
You're
ask
very
yourself,
different in the policies that you've supported in the past. You're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage. But
yeah, well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator. You supported the Green New Deal. You supported Medicare for all. You've supported legalizing marijuana. Joe Biden doesn't support those things. So are you going to bring the policies, those progressive policies that you supported as senator, into a Biden administration?
what I will do, and I promise you this, and this is what Joe wants me to do, this was part of our deal. I will always share with him my lived experience as it relates to any issue that we confront. And I promised Joe that I will give him that perspective and always be honest with him.
And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?
No. No, it is the perspective of a woman who grew up a black child in America, who was also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India, who also, you know, likes hip hop. Like, what do you want to know?
Well, I want to give you the opportunity to address this, because at the Republican National Convention, President Trump made the case that Joe Biden is going to be nothing more than a Trojan horse for socialist policies, for the left wing of the Democratic Party. Are you going to push those policies when you're vice president of the United States?
I am not going to be confined to Donald Trump's definition of who I or anybody else is. And I think America has learned that that would be a mistake.
Is that vice presidential or presidential to you? I mean, she's a heartbeat away from the presidency if they get elected. Do you think that laughing as the answer to every question is presidential or even vice presidential? Is that what America needs? There was nothing funny about any of those questions. There was nothing funny about any of her answers. So why the laughter? Because that's what she does to try and deflect and not answer questions. And as you'll note, not only did she have that annoying, grating laugh, and we have pointed out this laugh on the show many times. We even have a sound effect for it. Well, okay, I can't do her horrible laugh. My forced laughter is pretty annoying too, which is why I don't do forced laughter. But it's just grating, and it's unprofessional. It's unseemly. If she wants to be seen as more than a laughing woman, she needs to act professional, and she won't. Because she is here. She's in this position despite having behaved horribly. At the debates, all she did was attack Joe Biden and call him a racist. And she didn't ask her about that much either. They did show it barely, but she didn't really pin her down. And you saw right there, she asked her, are you going to be a radical like you've been? You are the most liberal senator. I mean, even more liberal than Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. That's right. Yes, more liberal than they are. And what did she say? I'm not going to be pinned down by Donald Trump's definition of who I am. That means I don't want to answer the question because you're absolutely right. I am the most radical. So she got that question, and then she got asked this other question. That was a softball question, by the way, as you noticed. That was nothing like the questions Mike Pence was asked by Leslie Stahl and put on the spot. And look at this other softball question about Donald Trump. Look at this.
And she's only the second black woman to serve in the United States Senate.
Do you think having the first woman of color, the first woman as vice president, may change things?
I do. It helps change the perception of who can do what. Because that is still part of the battle, after all. And you imagine some young person then seeing, oh, things can be different. I don't have to conform to whatever I'm, supposed to do or relegated to do. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
What kind of role do you think you would play in a Biden administration?
Joe Biden's partner. One of the first things he said was, I want you to be the first person in the room and the last person in the room.
How often do you and Joe Biden speak?
Almost every day.
Your next Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
From the moment Joe Biden selected her as his running mate, Senator Harris has become one of President Trump's favorite targets.
And she's not competent. She's not competent.
On the campaign trail, President Trump has attacked you frequently. He's called you a monster. He said you're nasty and it would be an insult to our country if you became the first female president. Do you see this as just the rough and tumble of politics, or do you view those attacks against you as racist?
Well, this is not the first time in my life I've been called names. And it was predictable, sadly.
Do you think the president is racist?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. You can look at a pattern that goes back to him questioning the identity of the first black president of the United States. You can look at Charlottesville, when there were peaceful protesters, and on the other side, neo-Nazis, and he talks about fine people on either side, calling Mexicans rapists and criminals. His first order of business was to institute a Muslim ban. It all speaks for itself.
First of all, there was never a Muslim ban. There should have been, but there was not. So I don't know what she's talking about. Is North Korea a Muslim country? Is Cuba a Muslim country? He banned people who are from countries that are enemies of the United States, many of whom are not Muslim. And she was just full of it. But did you hear a single hard question in there? Is Donald Trump a racist? Is he anti-woman? Do you think being a woman vice president is going to change perceptions? These are the questions she got. These are all softballs to the nth degree. They are easy questions. And she answered with a bunch of psychobabble gobbledygook. My lived experience, that is liberal jargon that means nothing if I ever heard it. My lived experience. We all have a lived experience. We all live, we all experience. What does that mean? And then she said that me being vice president will change the perception of who can do what. Was there anybody who thought a female cannot be vice president? Come on. Was there anybody who said, oh, well, because you slept your way to the top with a married man, Willie Brown, then now I, as a young girl, can do that too? I mean, that's the perception she's changing, which sleeping your way to the top isn't a new perception. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. When we come back, we will talk the Amy Coney Barrett nomination, which looks like it's going to happen. And we'll talk about, gee, some people are mad that 50 Cent and some other black people have said good things about the president. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together to get our kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep Bismarck safe, strong, and resilient. A community task force has been launched to slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We're all in this together. Protect yourself and others by doing your part. Wear a mask when you're out and about, and slow the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So a vote to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett by the U.S. Senate is set for this evening. So when you wake up tomorrow, she will most definitely be the next Supreme Court justice. And thank God for that, especially if you believe the polls. I don't, but still, this is a very, very important vote. I'm glad that they rushed it. There really wasn't a rush. She had been vetted already for the Court of Appeals. She had been vetted to death. She just got vetted to death some more. And you saw the immature Democrats who boycotted the vote from the committee, and they're probably going to vote against her. Maybe they'll boycott the vote again. But now every single Republican senator except Susan Collins of Maine has said they will vote for her. Mitt Romney, as we mentioned last week, and now Lisa Murkowski, who from Alaska, who had said before that she was against this vote coming forward before the election. So she has now come around, and I think that's a good thing. She should have come around. She voted for Amy Coney Barrett the first time. She voted to confirm her. I think Susan Collins did as well. So she should vote for her this time also. But nevertheless, the Republicans have the votes. They don't even need Mike Pence to break the tie vote, although he is on standby if they need him. Now, I'll tell you why it was so important for this to happen before the election. As the president has been saying, there are going to be a lot of lawsuits over this election. This is going to be in the courts probably for months, maybe years. And there was one case that came up already last week or the week before, a Pennsylvania case, and this is so important. And unfortunately, a bad decision was the status quo, because when the Supreme Court ties, then the lower court's ruling stands. And the lower court ruling, I believe it was the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, said that Pennsylvania should accept ballots up to 3 days after the election, as long as they're postmarked by November 3rd. So that's 3 days, and there's all kinds of room for fraud. They can do fraudulent postmarks. That's very easy to fake. The other thing that is even worse about this decision is they said that envelopes that had no postmark or had a hard-to-read postmark that cannot be deciphered should also be counted as long as they came in 3 days after the election. Are you kidding? Can you imagine what will happen with that? So let's say Trump wins Pennsylvania on Election Day. Let's say after everything is counted to date, to November 3rd, he has won. Everything that's done by mail, everything, all the people that came in on Election Day. And the Democrats say, oh my God, we have to win Pennsylvania or Joe Biden's going to lose. So all of a sudden they start getting all these ballots. Now, how did they get the ballots? Well, how do they get the ballots? We have so many stories about ballots lost, ballots not in envelopes, ballots missing. We have our stories in North Dakota. I had two stories, one with people in North Dakota who lived in Florida for the winter, and one with people who live in North Dakota, I believe in Cass County, where 26,000 ballots, many of them missing. People didn't even order these ballots. So how are they going to get these ballots in Pennsylvania? That's how. And they could fake postmarks, or they could just have them indecipherable, smear them. That's a horrible decision. It leaves a lot of room for faking the results in Pennsylvania 3 days later. And so that is why it is so important to have 9 people on the Supreme Court. And you know what? The Republicans are bringing that case back. They're going to bring it back, and Amy Coney Barrett is going to be on the court, and she's going to get to decide that. That's why they had to confirm a 9th justice. And I'm glad that they did. Now, speaking of the election, as we told you last week, 50 Cent said that he doesn't care if President Trump is racist. He's not, but he said, I don't care. I want to be 50 Cent, not 20 Cent. And he had a posting of what the tax rates would be. And he had that in California it would be up to 62% of his income. And that is accurate because there's income tax, there is taxes on the gas, there's all kinds of taxes in California. And Joe Biden's plan would make it worse, where they would be paying up to 62% in taxes, especially somebody in his bracket. So he said that. And an ex-girlfriend of his, I loathe this woman. She's not funny. She's supposed to be a comedian. She's a terrible actress. She's supposed to be that too. Chelsea Handler, listen to what she told Jimmy Fallon on Friday night. Do we have the video? Okay, maybe we don't have the video. But Chelsea Handler told Jimmy Fallon that 50 Cent was her ex-boyfriend. She acknowledged that she has slept with him and that she's willing to sleep with him again if he votes against Trump. Yeah, that's a badge of honor. That's really a point in your favor that you're willing to say, basically, I'm a slut and I'll sleep with somebody famous if they change their vote in favor of Joe Biden. Really? Oh, and the worst part about what she told Jimmy Fallon, I really wish we had the video for this, but you'll have to take my word for it. Maybe we'll have it tomorrow. Is she told Jimmy Fallon, I had to remind Fiddy that he's black. Really? This sounds like a slave owner. Boy, I gotta remind you, you're black. That's what that sounds like. A southern slave owner. That's what she sounds like. You know, that she takes ownership of him and she gets to tell him what to do because he's black and she's a white chick. That is racism, all right? We hear cries of racism left and right, systematic racism, this and that. There's nothing to back it up. This is racism. And what she told Jimmy Fallon, and you can find that video online, that is the real racism. And she went on and on about it. Nobody needs to be reminded, Chelsea, that they're black. They don't need you, a privileged white chick from Long Island, New York, to tell them their skin pigment. They have a mirror. They know their identity. They don't need you because you slept with somebody, because you were a receptacle for bodily fluids. No, that doesn't give you any license for anything. All right? And one other person who's coming under attack because he's black, and he also said something good about President Trump, is Van Jones. So you may remember Van Jones. He's a Clintonite. He is basically a Marxist. He's a CNN commentator, really a big racist, frankly, in my opinion. He said that when President Trump got elected on election night, you can look this up, he said that it was a whitewash, and that America was whitewashed, that we were whitewashing America by electing President Trump. He has made a lot of insults, but you know what? Over the weekend, he said that President Trump has done quote, good stuff for the black community. So guess what? Now, he's not black enough anymore either. And a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of liberals are calling for him to be fired. Jake Tapper, who interviewed him, got all mad at him. Also basically told him he has to remind him all these things about the black community. Really? So black people have to be monolithic, like Joe Biden says, you ain't black, or they're not black enough for Chelsea Handler, Jake Tapper, and Joe Biden. Really? That's the real racism, okay? That's racism. Not all these other examples you've been fed, but this. That's racism. When we come back, we will talk about the NFL player who did what to the Trump caravan, and also some interesting North Dakota stories. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
You're looking for secure, private cloud storage, but who can you trust? Big tech companies don't always keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business information away from prying eyes. Your local Beck Lightband Internet Services comes with 50 gigs of Beck Cloud Backup, free. Hometown service with top-tier security to keep your data truly safe and private. Get your 50 gigs free today. Call 701-475-2361 and ask about Beck Cloud Backup.
My name is Rich Shook, and I lost my best friend in a grain bin accident.
Some of the emotional scars that when these incidences happen just resonates throughout the community like dropping a rock in a pond. I guess I'll never forget. At least the last moments we shared. That's why I think this is so important to get out there to people, is people think that it can't happen to you, and it can. The time it would take you to just kiss a loved one and your life is over. I believe it's unacceptable.
This message provided by North Dakota Farmers Union.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So we found the video we were talking about before the break of Chelsea Handler talking to Jimmy Fallon. You have to watch this.
You heard about my ex-boyfriend, right? 50 Cent, and his support of Donald Trump.
Yeah, what's going on between you? I saw your tweets and I go, wait, what's happening? Because you said he was your favorite ex-boyfriend, and then what does he do? He's supporting Trump?
He says he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes, which, by the way, isn't a plan of Joe Biden's. That's a lie. So he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes because he doesn't want to go from being 50 cent to 20 cent. And I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook. So I haven't heard back from him yet, but I am willing to, seal the deal in more ways than one if he changes his mind and publicly denounces Donald Trump. I might be willing to go for another spin, if you know what I'm talking about.
Ew. Just ew. All right, first of all, ew in a lot of ways. I had to remind him he was a black person. No, you didn't. Again, that sounds like a slave owner. That sounds like a racist, because you know why? It is. She's a racist for saying that. Also, for having dated him, she doesn't know that it's not 50 cent. It's 50 cent, all right? You don't know that? And you dated, euphemism, this person? By the way, he does not care about your volunteering another spin. He's spun that, all right? Been there, done that, goodbye. You're trash. Does not care about you anymore. And just shut up. Ugh, I cannot stand this woman. Ugh. Yuck. All right, and speaking of somebody else, yuck, is DeAndre Hopkins. All right, DeAndre Hopkins is an NFL player from the Arizona Cardinals, and listen to what he did over the weekend. So there was a Trump caravan, and he didn't like that. He does not like people expressing their beliefs and their support for their candidate. So he was driving by in his black Ferrari, see that? And he gave them the fingers. There's the picture. Gave them the finger. Real class act, this guy. Now, you know that if he were a white guy in his Ferrari or Lamborghini or whatever, some exotic car, driving by Black Lives Matter, and there was a picture of him giving the finger, he would have to give 1 million apologies. His career would probably be over unless he donated like several $1 million to the United Negro College Fund and HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. But because he's black and because they're white and mostly white, there were a lot of black people, by the way, who are supporting Trump, more and more of them. But he gave them the finger because they're white mostly and he's black. He gets away with it. This is how the NFL and the world works today. There's a double standard, a separate set of standards for you and me, and a separate set of standards for NFL players. Listen to this. This guy also entered Sunday's game leading the league in receiving yards and catches. So they're not going to do anything to this guy. Not if they know what's good for their zillions, these NFL greedy owners who have no principles whatsoever. If they had, a lot of things would be different in the NFL, starting with no kneeling. Now, enough of these stories. We want to talk about North Dakota. And speaking of North Dakota, Joe Biden is in North Dakota news. You can't get him away. You can't get away from this guy. He has endorsed Shelley Lenz for governor. It's not going to make a difference. She is not going to win. Joe Biden is not going to win North Dakota. President Trump is going to win North Dakota, all right? And I don't care how many people carved Biden, Harris into their field, as we saw the one farmer from North Dakota did. It's irrelevant. North Dakota is for Trump. North Dakota's a red state now. And by the way, here's some news about North Dakota. It hasn't elected a statewide Democrat for a very long time. Heidi Heitkamp lost her seat. Joe Biden says she will deliver real results for North Dakota's working families and support North Dakota's farmers and workers. Really? How's she going to do that when Joe Biden wants to put a lot of people in North Dakota out of work? He wants to go zero carbon by 2025. And even if he meant 2035 and made an error, as he now claims, either way, that is going to put North Dakota out of business, as we said last week. It's just kaput. You might as well turn off the lights and leave. All right? Farmers, how is she going to support farmers how are they going to plug in their tractors? They're going to plug them in? How are they going to operate them? They use fuel to run a lot of this equipment. They're going to plug it in overnight. America has enough of an electric power grid to do that? No. Farmers are going to be out of business. The cost of food is going to go way up. Things are going to be desperate and horrible in America. That's what's going to happen. If that's what you want, good luck. So, no on Joe. Sorry. Boo. All right, now, I find this very interesting because I feel this is another opportunity rife with fraud potential. And this is the counting of the ballots in North Dakota. Governor Burgum signed in an executive order, and now this is a policy, where they're going to start counting ballots early. They're going to start on October 29th. So this week they are going to start. So today's the 26th. Thursday, they're going to start counting ballots. I don't like that at all. Now, the reason they're doing that is because, for example, one of the election directors, the North Dakota County Auditors Association Executive Director Donnell Presky-Hushka, said that without doing that, the results could be delayed not by hours, but maybe even days. Well, you know what? Maybe we do want to wait a few days to avoid counting the numbers ahead of time, because you know what happens? When we know results ahead of time, that gives people an inkling of what's going to happen, and they try to push things the other way so that their candidate wins. This is an opportunity rife with fraud potential. Now, the governor says, no, we're going to have election integrity. The results will be timely on election day, but don't worry, nobody's going to cheat. Really? You're starting to count ballots early before election day? Nobody's there to watch? I mean, a few people are there, but the campaigns have organized poll watchers and election counting watchers. They're not going to be there. What could go wrong? Come on. Remember, things are not always as they seem. See you tomorrow.